is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me this evening for another episode of Book Chat. Tonight, I'm going to be chatting with you about this book, The Unheard by Nicci French. And I picked up this book recently at a different library system. I was visiting my mom in San Jose. I got this from the San Jose Public Library. We do have it in our catalog as a playaway, so you're able to check it out and listen to it. And I was just looking for something that I could read over the course of the weekend that I was staying with my mom, and this sounded really interesting. I've seen this author's name before, but have never read any of their books, and I had no idea that it is actually the pseudonym for a husband and wife author team. So here's a picture of them from the back of the book, and it's Nikki Gerard and Sean French, so that's where you get Nicci French. I had no idea. I thought that was kind of interesting. So this book is about a woman named Tess, her 3-year-old daughter Poppy, and her relationship with a number of different people in her life. One is her ex-partner Jason, who is recently remarried to a young woman named Emily, who is expecting a baby. Emily's brother Ben, who is currently staying with them, and Tess's boyfriend Aiden. Very early on in the book, Poppy comes home from staying with her dad, Jason, and shows Tess a drawing that she's drawn that Tess finds very disturbing. It's a picture of a woman, very dark picture, lots of blacks used, and it's a picture of a woman falling out of a tower. And Poppy kind of starts saying some weird things, like she did die, and she's not really making that much sense. And Tess is told by a lot of the other characters in the book to just forget about it, that, you know, Poppy is only 3, so she's very susceptible to things she hears on the radio or TV or hears other people saying. But Tess is convinced that Poppy has witnessed something and that something is actually wrong. So Tess goes to the police to report this crime, but the only problem is there isn't actually any crime to report. In the meantime, Tess is having dinner with her boyfriend Aiden one night when a woman comes up to them at this restaurant out of the blue and kind of accosts Tess and is saying, like, how do you not know who I am? I know who you are. You have a daughter. And Tess has no clue who this woman is. As Tess is trying to figure out what's happening with Poppy, Tess discovers a few days later that this woman, whose name happens to be Sky, has been killed. At first, it's ruled a suicide. She fell out of her apartment complex and she had a history of mental health issues and depression, but it slowly is revealed that it was actually a murder. And so Tess becomes convinced that she's onto something. You know, Poppy's drawing was of a woman falling out of a tower. Now this woman who had just accosted Tess at a restaurant turns up dead after falling out of her apartment complex. So Tess is very convinced that Poppy has overheard something, seen something, witnessed something. And the book kind of chronicles Tess's descent into this very chaotic, frenzied state to protect her daughter and at the same time solve this murder of this woman named Sky. And of course, the biggest problem is that Tess has absolutely no proof to back up some of the claims that she's making. So the police aren't really trusting her. She's getting in a lot of trouble with both the police officers, and her ex-husband is starting to think she's not fit to take care of their daughter. All this stuff is just creating this very big whirlwind of chaos around Tess. I won't go into too much more detail without giving away spoilers. I will say that my critique of this book is that at the end I felt like there were just way too many characters involved. There are a ton of different characters involved, and I think that that was intentional to try and throw you off the scent of who might be responsible for some of the action points in this book, but it left me feeling kind of confused about who I was supposed to be paying attention to and who was just somebody in passing. And I read on Goodreads that a lot of people felt some of the characters didn't need to be as present as they were. It is quite a long book. It's over 400 pages. I thought it was a very quick read for me. I was very intrigued by the action. I wanted to know what was going to happen. But at the end, I was like, did this really have to be 450 some pages? Probably not. It reminded me a lot of the book The Push, which I did a previous book chat on last year. The Push is one of my absolute favorite books, and it has very similar themes in terms of you can't really tell if the main women characters are losing it mentally or if they are onto something, if they are more aware than everybody else is. The only difference that I felt was that in The Push, I was 100% on that main character's side. I thought she was totally onto something. I thought she was being gaslit all over the place. I was in her corner 100%. In this book, in the Unheard, I thought Tess was losing her mind. I thought that she was going way too much in depth based on one drawing. I don't have kids, so maybe, you know, that is something that you just dive right into if your child is acting kind of funny. But the fact that she went to the police about a drawing her daughter had drawn seemed really wild to me, like a big jump. So I thought that she was, you know, I was not in her corner for the action of this book. But the two books are very similar in that it's tracing the course of action where you're not sure if you have a reliable narrator or not. So even with that critique, I still really enjoyed the book, and I will definitely keep Nicci French in mind if I'm looking for a suspense thriller, which is a genre that I do like to read. So like I said, we have this in our collection as a playaway. You can put it on hold and listen to it, and I'm sure that it'll keep you on the edge of your seat. If you have any books you'd like to recommend, please let us know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Good night.